Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. Very happy to see all the feedback and comments on the last video. Please keep them coming. This video is the first of a two-part series on the Avios ecosystem. Now, according to me, Avios is one of the easiest frequent flyer programs to learn and master. This video will cover the basics. In the next one, we will go over more advanced tips and double dips regarding Avios. So let's dive in. Now, why do I think Avios is a great program? It is for three reasons. Number one, earning. There are a lot of partners to earn Avios. Most credit cards will be able to transfer to it. Number two, it is the partner airlines. They have a wide variety of partner airlines, and this flexibility certainly helps. Number three is the sheer value. You can get some very cheap redemptions on Avios. You also get access to some great products such as the Qatar Airways Q Suites. But before going deep, I want to set expectations with respect to the Avios program and what kind of numbers are we actually looking at. Now, let us assume that the person has a spend of 25,000 monthly on rent, maybe another 12,000 on insurance, 10,000 monthly on school fees, and maybe let's say another 20,000 monthly on other expenses, whatever they may be. And let us assume that the spends are on the IndusInd Avios card that we spoke about in the last video. Now, this will net you a total of 25,000 Avios for 1 year worth of spending. Now, add to it the welcome bonus that you get with the card. You will end up with basically 45,000 Avios over a year. Now, what will 45,000 Avios get you? Now, if you're based out of Bangalore like me, you could go from Bangalore to Colombo, and this flight costs you 6,000 Avios. So, basically, with this spend, you can get return tickets for a family of 4 to Colombo and back. Or maybe you're in Chennai and maybe you want to go to Malaysia. The flight from Chennai to Kuala Lumpur goes in at 11,000 Avios. So maybe for a couple, this counts for a return trip with this Avios. Or maybe you're in Bombay and you want to go into a Hong Kong. Bombay to Hong Kong comes in at about 15,000 Avios. So a family of three, this is basically three one-way tickets. Or maybe you're in Delhi and you want to go into Europe. The Delhi Helsinki flight actually comes in at a little more than 20,500 Avios. So at 41,000 Avios, you're getting a return ticket into Europe. Now, I've not added taxes into all of these calculations. That will add up a little bit. But all in all, these are all redemptions that you can do on top of your regular spends. Now, I've already mentioned that one very good thing about Avios is that there are a number of credit card partners that we can transfer from. This is a great thing because if you have points across various credit cards, you can pool them in together towards one big redemption. Now, we've already mentioned the IndusInd Avios card, which gives you a 3% net return. The good thing, of course, being that it gives you points across a lot of restricted categories that your other cards won't give points on. Now, if your credit card is able to transfer to either Qatar Airways, British Airways, Finnair, these are all airlines and there are a few more that basically use Avios as your currency. So let's go through them one by one. First of all, there is Axis Bank. Now, Axis Bank has got Qatar Airways as a partner in their Group A set of partners. So you can transfer directly from your Atlas or Magnus or Olympus, all of these cards. American Express as well. American Express, unfortunately, does not issue too many of the non-premium cards anymore, but they also will let you transfer to either Qatar or British. They will let you do it at a 2-to-1 ratio. Now, HDFC is a bit of a special case. HDFC does allow you to transfer to both Qatar Airways as well as Finnair, but the transfer ratio for Finnair is twice as good as the ratio for Qatar. So what you do is you transfer into Finnair, and from Finnair you move it into Qatar, and you get twice as much value. Your Diners and Infinia cards will give you a 1-to-1 ratio. Regalia and on will give you a 2-to-1 ratio here. IndusInd is anyway great. We've talked about it. The other really nice one for Avios is the HSBC set. Now, there is the Travel One card, the Premier card. Both of them has a 1-to-1 redemption to Avios. And Travel One could be a great addition for you to earn accelerated rewards. You can get with the HSBC cards as much as 16% or 18% Avios on flight spends. And this multiplier can most certainly help. Lastly, technically, Avios is tied up with the SBI card ecosystem as well, the SBI Miles cards, but the transfer ratios over there are not so great. So I'd say you may want to avoid these. Now, let's look at the process of booking flights using Avios. Now, one of the first things that we need to know is where all can I fly to Avios from my airport. So I've shared a URL to this tool. It's called Flights From. This is the one that I use a lot. Now, what you will need to do is replace the airport code in your URL with the code of your airport. Currently, for instance, this is set to Delhi, DEL, and the filter is set to Oneworld Alliance, which is essentially all the airlines which are partners of Avios. Now, if you look at Delhi, you can see that you can use Avios to fly to potentially New York, which is the American Airlines flight, or London or British Airways. There is Finnair, which is the flight to Helsinki. There is Qatar, the flight to Doha. There is Muscat. There is Colombo on Sri Lankan. There is Japan Airways to Tokyo. Many more out here. And again, in the URL, if you simply replace the 3-digit code, you'll be able to find flights for a different airport. For instance, if I do change it to Bombay, so that will be BOM. This will show me all the one world flights that you can fly out of Bombay. So there's again London and Jordan. Amman is a new one over here. Again, Hong Kong and Kuala Lumpur continue to be there. Colombo is here as well. Now, one of the first things you should do is go to all of these websites, Qatar Airways, British Airways, as well as Finnair, and create your accounts there and link them to each other. Now, the linking process is a little involved. It requires the use of a VPN. I've added a link in the description with respect to all the steps. Now, a question that naturally comes to mind is that if you need to book a flight, which program do you end up booking on? Do I book a flight using Qatar or British or Finnair? Now, in general, you can always go and check the fares on all three and pick the one that is the cheapest. But there are a few patterns that will broadly apply. Number one, if you're booking a flight on a Qatar Airways aircraft, you may want to use the Qatar program. And if you're booking on Finnair, for instance, you may want to use the Finnair program. Why would you want to do this? Typically, you do get better deals as well as more often than not better availability with respect to seats. Like if you're booking 3 seats, 4 seats, there's a greater likelihood that you will find it on the parent program. But it's a good idea to check in all three anyway. Now, if you're booking outside of these three airlines, if you're booking on one of the partner airlines, like Sri Lankan, for instance, in general, from my observation, I have seen that the rates are relatively better on Qatar compared to the other two. The taxes are typically the lowest. Finnair and British end up adding a little more on taxes. British is typically the most expensive one. But then again, just have a look, log into all three and check what is the rate that you get on all three programs. Now, one more thing that may happen is that you may find a flight that is available on one program but not available on a different one. For instance, you may be able to find a flight on British, but you're not able to find the same flight on Qatar. Now, typically for partner airlines, the quota is shared across all partners. So what this means is that there could be a software error or bug that is preventing this flight from being shown up. In this situation, what you will want to do is you can actually call up the customer care and say that, hey, this is the flight that I do want to book. Is it available? And more often than not, you will get it. So it may not show up on the website, but it will be available in real life. In fact, I will say call them up anywhere, because the reverse problem can also happen. Sometimes the flight may be shown on the website, but the flight is not available in reality. So you should always just call up the customer care, check if the flight is there or not. In fact, what the customer care for Qatar will also allow you to do is to hold a flight for, say, up to a couple of days. So you tell them that, hey, I'm interested in this flight. Can you hold the tickets for me? It's like a soft reservation. And now you can spend these 48 hours to initiate the transfer from your credit card program, so that by the time your Avios is ready, you are still holding the reservation and you're able to make the booking. You do not run the risk of someone else booking that flight and that ticket getting sold out. Let's do a sample search. Now, you need to go to the Qatar website. You need to be logged in. And let's enter some details and find out. Now, I've already talked about the Bangalore Colombo flight. So I'm going to select one way and we'll select an arbitrary date. And we need to check book using Avios, and we will hit search. And the interface is pretty straightforward. Let's look at the results. So here it says that, okay, you do have a flight available. This is the Sri Lankan Airlines flight. There are two flights. There's one that takes off at 3 in the morning. There's another that takes off at 10 in the morning. And both of these are available at 6,000 Avios. A business class seat is also available at around 12 and a half. You'll also see a few connections. Typically, these are the Doha connections. Now, it doesn't make any sense for us to go to Doha and then come into Colombo, but it's just available for what it's worth. Let's select one of them, and we hit select fare. Now, when we hit this, it will tell you that, hey, you need 6,000 Avios and 3,000 rupees in tax. Now, that this is a high number for taxes in general, but Colombo is notorious for high taxes. There will be other destinations where the tax numbers will be a little lower. Now, when you hit confirm, you just need to fill in your contact details, your passport, and so on, and just sub pay, and that's it. Your ticket is booked. As simple as that. Now let's spend some time talking about the taxes. We saw the number was quite high for Colombo, and taxes can be a function of number of things. It's a function of the airport. It can also be a function of the airline itself, and sometimes both of them combine really badly. For instance, a classic example here is British Airways and London. Both of them are known to pass on heavy tax loads to the end consumer, and you will often end up paying a substantial fee in taxes if you're hitting this combination, even more so if you're booking a business class seat. Now, in general, London has got high taxes. British Airways generally has high taxes. Middle Eastern airports also will have high taxes. So if you're going to Europe via Doha, more often than not, you will end up having a substantial tax spend. Having said that, there will be destinations with lower taxes. For instance, Hong Kong has relatively low taxes. Japan also has low taxes. So yeah, I mean, it depends. It can be up or down, but do incorporate this as a part of your planning. Now, we've already talked about some of the destinations we can fly to using Avios and the points requirement for them. But in addition to this, Avios can be one of the cheapest ways to fly into the USA, especially the east coast of the US. So if you want to go from India to the US and the flight is typically via Doha, you can get off-season prices as low as 42,000 points. This is pretty much as cheap as it gets. And the other good thing about this is that you're able to book 3 tickets, 4 tickets. You're able to normally get availability for so many of those all at once. Now, talking of long Qatar flights, like the one to the US, or one of the longest flights in the world is the one that goes from Doha all the way to Auckland. Now, if you are looking for a bucket list redemption, these once in a lifetime redemptions that you do want to make, the Qatar product called Q Suites is something that you are looking for. Now, these will be expensive. They'll go upwards of 170, 180K. Avios maybe a little more. And they are hard to get as well. You'll need to book them a number of months ahead of time. But from whatever I've heard, the experience is great. And if you're looking at once in a lifetime redemptions, this might be something that is worth gathering your Avios towards. Avios is an optimizer's gold mine. There are so many more things we can do with Avios, including maybe getting to a status faster or earning bonus Avios for making your hotel bookings. This demands a video of its own, and I plan to cover this in the next part. But until then, that's it for this video, and enjoy your end of year break, and thanks again.